In this video, we're going to cover what a manager will see when they come into MyTimesheets. Now, again, a manager can view this data on a smartphone, tablet, or PC using exactly the same login screen. They just simply visit the mytimesheets.co login screen. Now, I'm going to log in as a full admin. So, as a full admin, I can see all entries for all employees and I have full control. If I logged in as an approving manager, I would only see certain aspects of the system, so I wouldn't be able to process the data through to payroll, etc. And I would only see the employees whose timesheets I was approving. So if I was managing a particular team, then that would be my department, and I would only see those employees who had worked in my team in the given period. But in this mode, I'm going to look at full admin. So when I log in, I come into the process timesheets screen. Now in here as a full admin, I have the ability to lock down a period where I can stop employees entering data after a certain date, before a certain date. In that mode, as an admin, I've still got full control. I can still add, edit, delete, but an employee, once the data is locked, they can still see it, but they can't change something. So if I come in here and review my timesheets, under the review option, I'm seeing all of the dates going back historically. Now I can view this data in date order, is one way of looking at it. The alternative is I can look at it in employee order. So depending on how you like to look at the data, some, especially in manager or departmental admin roles, they prefer to look at the data by employee. So if I come back in and review my times, I can now see the employees that are in my team. I can drill into that particular employee and go in and look and see what's been going on from a timesheet perspective. So I can come in here, now I'm logged in. As you can see, I can see the same information that the employee could see. I have got a message up here which is telling me that I've received a notification from an employee who's entered their timesheets. I can come in here and view the data. So if I drill back in here, I can see all of the information that has been entered. If I chose to, I could come in here and edit this. Now I can edit this by doing a number of things. I can approve it, I can change it, I can put it to a different code if that was supposed to be the case. That was actually supposed to be container 2, or I can say it's ordinary time, or I can change someone's entry into something completely different if that's what I wanted to do. So I've got full control over this particular screen. If I wanted to go in and add something that had been missed, so I could come in here and say, okay, well that was actually, you did extra time, so you did a few extra hours. I could give that a name for overtime, for example, and I can save that. So I've now entered that data for the employee on their behalf. And if I've entered a note, then I can see what that note was about. Once I'm looking at this information, if I'm happy with what I'm seeing, I can simply approve all of the data, in which case these all turn from question marks into thumbs up, or I can decline it. So for example, if the employee had entered some overtime and I didn't think that was actually appropriate, I can decline it, and then the employee would see a thumbs down. So if the employee has missed something, you can go and add it, you can go and edit it, you can delete it if that was the case. You can also send notes and messages back to your employees. If you wanted to go and enter some leave, so for example, I could come and add a new record for, let's say, Saturday, or I could come in and change Saturday, for example. It might be easier if I come in here and say, okay, well, it actually wasn't ordinary time. It was actually annual leave, and you had 4 hours. I can change that from ordinary time to annual leave or some other method, depending on what the information is that's required. So I can got full control over what goes on here. Once I've gone through and checked my employees, so you'll get different icons here as an admin. So you obviously see that there's a record that's been declined on that particular day. You'll see this hourglass, which means I have an employee who's got an open timesheet which hasn't been completed. Now, if I wanted to, I could either message the employee and say, please go and complete it, or I can simply come in here and I can complete it for them. And I simply approve that then, and that record then becomes an approved record. It's no longer pending. So I can check all of my employees, go through them either by date, or I can go through them in employee lists. The next thing I would do as an admin, and if I was a full admin, I have all of these icons. If I'm only a departmental admin, I only have the icons here. I can't lock and I can't process a pay, but I'm logged in as a full admin. So once I was happy, then I could run a report for a particular period. and this report comes out as in a PDF form, which you can save, or you can print a screen, you can email it, obviously, you can do other things with that particular data. So now I can see, looking at all of the timesheets for the employees under my supervision for the period that I'm reporting on. I can see where they've worked, what they've done, whether it was leave, etc. I can come in here and process my pay period reports. If I'm the payroll admin, I can export the data to my payroll system. I can also undo an export, so that if I found that there was some data that I'd sent to payroll I needed to correct, I can pull it all back as if it's never been exported. I can also see future dates, both as a department admin and as a full admin. So I can come in here and see that employees have got leave that's been booked and or approved during the process. I can, once I've done this, then the pay is processed. But I've also, as a full admin, I've got access to all of the departments and cost centers, users. I can set up new employees. I can go and change details on a particular employee's screen if I needed to, put them into a different cost center or department, as the case may be, change their fast PIN, etc. So in full admin mode, I've got full control, and I can process my data from adding employees to entering their timesheets on their behalf through to processing it right through to payroll. So you've got full control of what you see and do in this particular mode. So hopefully that covers the administrator process. There's a lot of setup and things that we would do on your behalf as part of your implementation and training, which we'll go through then, but I won't cover those there. The main thing that I wanted to communicate in this particular presentation is this ability to review and edit times. As I said earlier, you can do all of what I'm doing here in a fast entry screen on a smartphone, or I can run that on a tablet, or I can run that in full screen mode on any PC. We are browser based, so as long as the employee or the administrator has access to the internet, then they can get into my timesheets from anywhere and have full control of the system. Hopefully that covers the two main areas.